There are a couple things that are very important to us about the education that we want to give our kids, and one of those things is having a solid Christian foundation, which Trinity provides.
Christian education was so important to us. We chose Trinity because, one, God laid it in our lap and literally in our backyard, and it was exactly what we were looking for.
My husband and I just felt that God was leading us to Trinity to seek a different type of education for our children, one in which Christ was the center and the focus, where God was talked about in school, where our children had the ability to pray in school, to be able to discuss the Bible and things that they would get at home and things that they were seeing at church on a regular basis, so that they were having more integration of that essentially during the school hours.
Well, the most important part of our identity is that we are Christ-centered. That's paramount. And really, traditionally, a classical school was always a Christ-centered school. They fit together beautifully, because when we understand that any truth is God's truth, then whenever we teach truth, we are teaching about God.
Christ-centered education is that truth can be known. We can know that the world was created to be an ordered world, that when I go outside and I look at Fibonacci's sequence on a flower, that it shows that God has a hand to things. It shows in mathematics, it shows in science, it shows in literature that we all long for this eternality.
But what it means here to be a Christ-centered school, it means that we weave the truth of who Christ is into all of our lessons. So if we're teaching a math lesson, we're telling students that 2 + 2 = 4. We want them to understand that 2 + 2 is always 4, because God is a God of order, because He is a God of consistency that they can throw themselves against when things seem very difficult or confusing or chaotic. When we show them a piece of poetry that is very beautiful, we do it in the context of that poet giving the opportunity for them to see how beautiful God is. Even if that poet is describing our earth, God created our earth, and so beauty flows in and through Him.
So Trinity truly is a Christian school in that they interweave biblical principles and faith into every subject that they teach. Because God created everything and was in everything, life lessons and biblical lessons can be woven within the entire fabric of the education our children get. Besides just memorizing scripture, we learn how God created logic and the beauty in the music that He created. We can learn about how God created languages, and again, the cultures and the differences with people and history, and seeing how God worked throughout history. All of these subjects can be ways to reflect characters of God, and Trinity does a really good job of doing that.
It really sets Trinity apart from maybe another Christian school that maybe has, there's 7 or 8 subjects, and Bible is one of those subjects. This is really a model where Christ is the center of all of it. It's not just that maybe we learn a little bit about the Bible in Bible class. He's really the creator of it all.
It also looks like us integrating our subject matter. So if we're studying history, and we can see what God is doing and how He is moving in a certain point of history, we can look at the literature of that history and how those authors were inspired by Him. Or we can look at how Scripture explains something in science and helps us to have a fuller, richer understanding that a flower isn't just composed of petals, that it has beauty in and of its whole self. And the psalmists looked at flowers and thought they were extraordinary, and that they led them to appreciate God more and more.
Much of Trinity's goal is to equip our students to be able to go out into the world and defend what they believe in a concrete and persuasive way. We want to teach our children how to defend their faith, how to speak eloquently, but do it with kindness, do it with wisdom, do it with intelligence.
So being Christ-centered means that all of our lessons place Him at the center, and they reflect Him in what we are teaching our children.
Christianity answers that question. What is truth? What is truth? And Christ-centered truth. We look back at the Bible because it is historic. It makes sense that this world is created to be understood.
And we hope and pray that as we're teaching our children that, they are being equipped to pass that on to their children and their children's children.